Greetings, fellow Fulbrighters. My name is Ben Block, and I'm a 2010-2011 Fulbright student grantee. My apologies that I cannot be enjoying Thanksgiving with you all right now, but I'm currently at a wedding. So my research topic focuses on the International Climate Change Program, known as Reducing Emissions from Deforestation and Forest Degradation, otherwise known as REDD. Essentially, REDD is a subsidy for landowners who choose not to remove trees from their land, who cut down their trees in more sustainable ways, or who reforest. Most importantly, the projects have to avoid releases of greenhouse gases that would otherwise be warming the atmosphere. Polluters from industrialized countries finance REDD projects according to how much deforestation the projects avoid, which is measured by new advanced satellite technology. After graduating from the University of Maryland, I worked for 2.5 years as a journalist for World Watch magazine. During those years, the topic of REDD captured my attention. In Washington, D.C., environmentalists, scientists, development experts, and business and government leaders were all praising this new approach that would help us address global warming. They also said it would finally provide a funding source to halt deforestation and improve rural poverty. I applied for my grant to determine whether REDD can truly offer all of these benefits at once. My research began in December of last year when I attended the United Nations Climate Change Summit in Copenhagen. There, I watched world leaders debate the legal texts that would lead to the creation of REDD. I also heard the perspectives of many who oppose REDD. They criticized it as a loophole for polluters, and they feared that REDD speculators may coerce or force off the land those whose land rights are already at risk, indigenous peoples especially. Resolving many of the issues related to REDD will require new communication approaches. If REDD participants do not fully understand the terms of their agreements and do not bargain for ample compensation, then their contracts may severely restrict how they can develop their land and earn a decent living for 40 years to come. If they do not fully understand their obligations to the project, and if the project designers do not fully understand the needs of the participants, then the project's benefits for climate, biodiversity, and the participants' economic well-being are all at risk. So, my research focuses on environmental communications, studying how something as complicated as REDD is being explained to the farmers, miners, and loggers who are participating in the scheme. I arrived in Peru in October, and I settled in Puerto Maldonado in the southeast department of Madre de Dios. The town is surrounded by some of the world's most biodiverse forests in the world, in parks such as Manu and the Tapabada Reserve. The region is in the midst of a major gold boom, and the mining is causing significant destruction to forested regions. The interoceanic highway is also expected to increase development, adding more threats to forests while also offering greater possibilities for sustainable economic development. Here are pictures of Madre de Dios' forest cover. The forests are green in 2000 and 2006, and projections for 2015, 2030, and 2040. Due to the fact that Madre de Dios has so much forests but also faces significant deforestation threats, the region is considered a perfect place to begin REDD. My research focuses on how REDD projects are being designed, as well as how stakeholders are being included, approached, and informed. The main group I've been working with is Asociación para la Conservación de la Cuenca Amazónica, a conservation group that operates 2 research stations, one being the only cloud forest research station in Peru, and manages Peru's first conservation concession. They also work with local people, castañeros, campesinos, indigenous peoples, on a range of development projects. ACA is hoping it can use REDD to help fund their various projects and expand the region's conservation areas. I have also been attending meetings and interviewing members of the group Mesa REDD and the business Bosques Amazónicos. Mesa REDD is a consortium of government, NGO, business, and indigenous group representatives working to create a Madre de Dios-wide analysis of the department's carbon stocks and projections of future deforestation. Similar Mesa REDDs have been organized in the departments of Cusco and San Martin, as well as on the national level. Bosques Amazónicos is a business specializing in payment for ecosystem services projects, mainly REDD and reforestation. They operate 3 projects in Madre de Dios and 1 in Ucayali. ACA's first REDD project hoped to use the carbon market to protect the Los Amigos Conservation Concession. The 145,000 hectare concession protects more than 2,000 flower, 550 bird, and 300 mushroom species, as well as monkeys, giant otters, and jaguars, while storing some 80 million tons of carbon dioxide, roughly equal to the emissions from Californians' diesel and jet fuel combustion each year. ACA predicts that the interoceanic highway will encourage increasing populations to enter the concession illegally and result in the loss of 6 million tons of carbon dioxide in the next 40 years. Since this is the most advanced of ACA's projects, I've been studying it to learn more about how REDD projects are designed and financed. ACA is meanwhile trying to create various new projects. They are working with Brazil nut harvesters, or castañeros, the Association Recolectores Orgánicos de Nuestra Amazonia, Peru, and castañero company Candela, to protect castaña concessions by paying for better security to keep illegal loggers off the land. They're also trying to work with a variety of landowners who live along the interoceanic highway to form a conservation corridor between Los Amigos and the Tampapata Reserve. I've been observing ACA's Natural Resources Coordinator Augusto Milanovic explain REDD at a variety of workshops for loggers, farmers, and miners who ACA hopes they can enlist into joining one of their projects.
Hay que descontar la regeneración o la captura de la agricultura que se hubiera dado en ese sitio, ¿no? Si es que se hubiera deforestado. Eso hay que descontar. Descontando eso, vendiendo a $4, ese agricultor de 30 hectáreas en 5 años podría recibir $12.728. ¿Ya? O sea, $12.000 solo $12.000 en 5 años.
Bosques Amazónicos has been the most successful developer of REDD projects in Peru. One project I've researched is investing $1 million to build a new castañero processing plant, while also organizing a new castañero union and creating a new business plan to operate the plant. The castañeros will return 30% of the new business's profits to Bosques Amazónicos. Meanwhile, the castañeros are agreeing to restrict how they manage their concessions, and their increased profits will supposedly be used to keep illegal loggers off their land. Bosques Amazónicos plans to promote the project on the carbon market as a REDD project, and they will return 30% of the carbon profits to the castañeros. From my early observations, it appears like the projects that have been most successful at enlisting participant support have done so by avoiding detailed explanations of what carbon profits are. Bosques Amazónicos argues that participants are not interested in carbon profits, but rather they are more concerned with tangible benefits such as a processing plant. My conversations with the castañeros suggest that this is not the case. They're already expressing frustration that they do not know how much their 30% return from the carbon profits will generate, and they would rather a more even split or some other, more tangible form of compensation. On the other hand, the approaches that have been more transparent are arguably misleading still. Due to the uncertainties of the carbon market, it is impossible to tell a REDD participant how much he or she will earn. If the carbon price ends up being much lower than expected, participants may feel like they have been misled, leading them to break the terms of their agreement. In addition to conducting research, I have begun to help communicate REDD by writing about the topic for the blog Actualidad Ambiental, run by the environmental law NGO Sociedad Peruana de Derecho Ambiental. In December, I'll be working with SPDA in Lima to study how various ongoing legal reforms may affect the development of REDD. At the end of my research year, my goal is to form communication guidelines that could help conservation groups, businesses, journalists, and landowners better understand and implement REDD in Peru. Thank you for watching. Please contact me if you have any questions, and I hope we all will have a chance to meet. Bye.